There it is.
Yeah, buddy. And here
No.
we are. We are in the 6th week of the NFL season. I'm Steve Metrics. That's your boy.
DJ Triggs.
And together we are No Debate Sports and got some pretty cool stuff. I mean, yeah, I kind of know my team in the NFL world did okay today, but I'll watch it. I'll figure it out. But come on, like we
Uh-oh.
knew it was coming, Titans, whatever. But the really cool thing that I'm excited for is I'm wearing it. We saw it last night. Seeing our Brew Crew really do well against the local North Side Chicago rival in the
Oh,
Cubs
man.
was pretty darn cool. And now it's pretty much the David versus Goliath. It's the matchup that we've known that we have to be able to conquer, and it's been this way for about the last 6 years.
Wait. Time out.
Whoa, oh, okay. Um, your boy DJ Triggs probably taking about a 30 right here. So this is a 30. We're gonna be coming back to the show here shortly, but yeah, lots of pretty cool stuff happening out there in both the baseball world and he's got some hoops and he's got the
Well,
hats.
well,
How,
I
how,
was, I
how
was, I didn't know we were leading Brewers, so I
I,
mean,
I know. I mean, I did want to go somewhere else, and we'll get there. We'll get there in the NFL world. But man, pretty big day for us with our local team, with the Brew Crew that we're pretty excited with. I mean, we do have different NFL teams, but when it comes to the bats and the hoops, we're together like that.
yeah, not the Lakers. I just threw
Nah,
this on because it was clean. I'm not gonna lie to
yeah,
you.
it's
I
cool.
I got it. Like, I'm not even gonna make this up. I literally got it on clearance at
Okay,
I want to say Dick's Sporting Goods, if I'm not mistaken.
I like that
And
place.
it was like $5, and I was like, oh, you know what? I could wear that as just a random shirt here and there. Today was a random shirt kind of day,
Random shirt kind of day,
but I
man,
had to
and
make sure I grabbed my Brewers hat. That's why I was like,
yeah,
pause, time out,
yeah.
let me get out of here.
Yeah, I definitely want to make sure I represent the crew. I mean, in a way, I am like subliminally like a creamsicle Bucks fan in to some degree. I
Oh
just
yeah.
love that logo. I love the creamsicle. Old school Buccaneers kill it, man. It's pretty cool. But our local team looking pretty darn sharp. We went to a game a little over a month or two ago, and I'll be honest, man. I mean. I think the Brewers team that we have now is the greatest Brewers team I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I don't
Dude.
know too many of these guys, but seeing them as a unit, as a team, seeing the pitching staff, this is the greatest, just lights out, like really beat you down, heavy, nasty baseball team I've ever seen from Milwaukee ever.
So I would have, and this isn't just homerish. I would have put them as the number one team. I know we were the number one team in the league, but like
Sure.
going through the playoffs, um, if Brandon Woodruff wouldn't have gotten hurt again, because man, he was playing sub 3 ERA baseball, just tossing the rock pretty well. But
Yeah.
um,
Pro
yeah,
sports
I won't
guys
go
are going to
deep.
get hurt. We know it.
Right, right. I won't deep dive into my Brewers knowledge, but yeah. Before we hopped on, I was telling you my soon to be I guess former boss is a Miami Dolphins fan, and I guess I'll
Uh-oh.
give him that shout out because
Uh-oh.
I know the Dolphins they're just I don't know what's going on with them. I know they just played the Chargers, but you said you got big news. What happened?
Yeah, I got some big news. I'm watching a post game conference,
Oh
and
my gosh,
basically, I saw Tua air out locker room stuff. Yeah.
Ooh.
So he is airing out both people showing up late, things going on with the meetings. To me, that's a reflection of McDaniels, and that's a
Whoa.
reflection of Tua as well.
Yep.
And you have to understand that if you're a quarterback and you lose your coach, you're probably on the chopping block next. If you don't ball out, if you're not like a Philip Rivers, if you're not an Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers, or I mean, you got to be Josh Allen as well. you got to be fantastic. If you are not fantastic, the new regime is going to come in and replace you more than likely because
Yeah.
you're not their quarterback. They're going to figure out who they want to be their quarterback.
Right.
So I don't think Tua thought this through. And I mean, we know he's taken a lot of hits, so it makes sense. But Miami is just a train wreck, just a complete train wreck. And not only that, it's probably the worst. I think it's probably the worst U.S. city to have an NFL team because guys are down there for all the wrong reasons. You can say what you want about having a team in Vegas, and ironically, the Dolphins voted against the Raiders going to Vegas. But I think Miami is an even worse city for an NFL team for the fact that players nowadays, in today's day and age, they are down there for the wrong reasons that are completely opposite of NFL football.
Yeah. I just did some quick research on Tua's contract. Yes, he signed that extension last year for 212 million, 167 million guaranteed.
Good for
Um,
him. That's how you
yeah,
do it.
I have no idea how that happened, but
Good for him.
after 2026, so the 2027 season, like off season, I guess, um, there is a potential buyout, and he will get 152 million of that 212. But the Dolphins will only get hit with a dead cap of 34 million. I
Oh
say
yeah.
only, but that's
That
not very bad. By the time the cap hits in 3 or 4 years, we're talking 80, $90 million a year. And
yeah.
then you bring in a rookie quarterback who's probably making 15 to 20. So, I mean, it'll kind of even itself out at the end of the day.
Yeah. They still
Besides
have
that,
Quinn Ewers
the,
as well.
yeah,
We haven't seen.
the next void would then be 2029. And that's when he'd be a UFA.
Oh, he's gone. I think you nailed it with the 2026. There's guys like that where if they basically have 30-ish million remaining, everyone's going to use the Russell Wilson contract as a baseline for the foreseeable near short-term future, and they'll be able to cut ties with that. We're definitely even going to see a team probably cut ties with something more than that. I could see a team, I don't know everybody's contract, but if there's a team that has to cut ties with someone that's worth 50 million, I think you could definitely do it.
I agree.
I think Kyler Murray is one of those guys.
Yeah. Now, if you do look at Tua's passing numbers, I mean, he's down there. He's at 16 in the league, which
He's fine.
yeah, it's not horrible. I mean, he's down there with C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love. But then like you look at his touchdowns, he's thrown 10 plus touchdowns. But if I
That's not
tell
bad.
you, here we'll look at the numbers here. If I tell you the teams that he played. So he got 5 touchdowns between the Jets and the Carolina game. So
Mm.
the other four games, yeah, he's only got 6 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
that basically tells you there's a problem. And
Right.
then in those 4 games, he's also thrown 7 interceptions.
Whoa. Yeah,
Yep.
that's a Geno territory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
So his numbers may look a little nice on the edges, but then when you deep dive and you go 7 interceptions against Indy, New England, Buffalo, and LAC,
Right.
the Chargers, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean you know me when it comes to AFC West football. I actually do like what I see out of the Chargers, but that's still, I mean, it basically shows that Tua is a product of Mike McDaniels, and he just aired him out today. And he might get fired come Monday. Is I mean, I've if you haven't seen it yet, I have never seen a player press conference like this ever.
Ooh,
I have never
no, I
seen a
haven't.
guy air out meetings, players, people showing up late. To me, that is basically just speaking volumes of how lackluster that culture is. And basically, we knew that was how it would be coming into the season. I know there was a certain Fox beat reporter for the NFL that I knew that his first training camp he was going to, he called it Camp Softy, and that's the Miami Dolphins training
Wow.
camp. Yeah, and that's before like anything even happened. So it tells you what kind of shop Mike McDaniels is running down there in Miami. I don't think you have a really good culture. And I think you did have that back when you had Brian Flores. If you can bring a blue collar mentality culture down there in Florida, you can do it. You can make it work. You can make it be awesome. And then maybe you have guys who can kind of let it loose and party when it comes to being not in the NFL confines outside the season. But when you're in the season, man, you got to be in this together. Otherwise, it's going to be basically the inmates running the asylum, and that's really what's going on with this team. They have some nice pieces, they got some nice players, but they're going to need a complete overhaul. They really have to do it. The downside too with this team is it is one of the NFL owners that coaches do want to avoid. So it's a really toxic situation with what's going on down there.
Well, I'm gonna I'm gonna hold my judgment on their team. Obviously, a lot of injuries. We've never really believed in Miami. Well, I'm
The
going to talk
defense
about
is
the other side of the
atrocious.
football. I don't trust anything LA Chargers, and I know we go back and forth on that one, but they barely walked out of here with a win against Miami. We talked about Tua threw 3 interceptions today. So if you had
Yeah,
him in fantasy world, it was pretty bad.
yeah,
Now there's 2 things in this game that really caught my attention. One, all week they talked about Hassan Haskins was going to be the #1 guy, and then Vidal comes in there. He runs the ball, gets 124 yards on the ground. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure nobody had that guy. And then here's my next one.
Except in our
So,
league.
well, yeah, because we got 97 players out there. But
Yeah, we do.
so, uh, oh man, I'm blanking. I
Oh
am
no,
blanking.
no,
What's the
you're
wide
fine.
receiver?
Oh,
Johnston. So,
yes, Quentin
so
Johnston.
he was out. So you know me, I have been hating on Lad McConkey all year.
Not this
Well,
guy.
I started him. I started him today, 100 yards and a touchdown. But think about
Damn.
this: he had 9 targets. Guess who had 8 targets? And it's not Keenan Allen.
Let me roll my mind around LA wide receivers.
I don't think anyone would get this. This is
Man, I,
crazy.
I really want to say Josh Palmer, but I know he does not play football for that team, and he is in
He
Buffalo.
doesn't. So, Oronde Gadsden the second. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Oronde Gadsden, but I
About
know, ironically, his dad played for the Miami Dolphins like 20 years ago.
that's the
Isn't that
first.
wild?
Wow, that's crazy.
He had as many, a guy that I didn't even know he had a son. This guy had as many targets as Lad McConkey.
That's fantastic.
No,
And
it's
that's
not. Lad McConkey I'm over that guy.
well, but here's the thing too, and I mean, I don't know. Like I would really, really want to watch those games. I still think the guy can cut on a dime. I haven't seen anything in a Chargers game that I've watched where I'm like, oh, Lad McConkey's not doing, or Lad McConkey's dropping passes. Like I haven't come across that. And if that's the case, ride with your guy. And especially too with you
Yeah.
being in our league, if you're basically getting 4 points per week out of Lad McConkey, I'm sorry, but you got to be okay with that. It is acceptable. Like
Ugh.
really, 40 to 50 yards is probably average when it comes to an NFL wide receiver. So
Oh,
it's hard to swallow, but when you get a day like today, you know you're regressing to the mean, and his mean is much better. Um, so yeah, I mean, if I have a good offensive line, I have Justin Herbert, and I'm a slot receiver in Lad McConkey, then maybe I have to pick my poison with good slot receiving matchups with Lad McConkey. Maybe that's the way it goes this season.
all right. Well, this is what I'm going to give you. 74 yards, 48, 41, 11, 39, 100.
Yeah,
None of those are acceptable.
I'm okay with that. I mean, yeah, the 11 and the 39, it's going to be tough to swallow, and you're going to need help elsewhere.
41,
But the other 4 games,
41,
I'm
and
comfortable with.
48.
Yeah,
You're okay
I'm good
with
with
the? Oh,
those.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Not when you drafted that guy in, top 5 rounds of your
I
league.
know.
You're looking for a starter. He's barely giving you 4 points in like PPR and
I know
I
it's
don't
hard.
even know.
I know it's
Yeah,
hard to swallow, but when you get like, there's just, as long as you know that your guy is an integral part of the offense and he's out there for a large volume of plays, that's how it rolls.
at this point,
It's not, you're not going to like it, but it is
at,
how it works.
at this point, I don't even know if he's an integral part of the offense anymore. I mean, the dude has played nearly half the games that he did last year. He had 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. I don't think he's breaking 1,000. No, I will put all my money on he's under 1,000. Like
Yeah,
maybe
you could be
7 to
right.
800. He like the only reason he got a big game today is because I mean the real number one is out. So I'm over Lad McConkey. I'm over the entire Chargers team. I don't even think they're going to be a playoff team. So I'm over them.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I do think it's going to be close. This is a team that I think is either going to get the 6th or the 7th spot. I think it gets close between LA, Jacksonville, and Kansas City. I think 2 of those 3 are going to get the last 2 spots of the AFC playoffs.
See now,
And
I would believe you any other year, but can I give you something here?
sure.
I looked this up earlier and it blew my mind. So I know the Packers are 3-1-1, right?
Sure.
So I'm just gonna call them a 4-win team for this exercise.
Oh, totally.
There are
Totally.
there are 14 4-win teams right now.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. There are 5. There
It's
are
pretty hard to
6.
figure out who's good in the NFC. Just
There
saying,
are
right?
there are only 6 one-loss teams.
Okay.
Yeah, which is insane.
Interesting.
There are
Yeah.
more winners right now than there are losers. So I'm
Interesting.
just saying, a couple of those winners are gonna click, click, click,
Yes.
click, click, fall down a
Yes.
couple pegs. And
Quickly.
obviously, Kansas City is not a playoff team if we started right now. Do I think Kansas City's going to make the playoffs? I do.
I
They'll
kind
figure
of
it
do
out.
too.
Um, like
Great
what?
defensive coordinator too, especially when we
What
get late
if
in the season.
Joe Burrow comes back and starts lighting it on fire like he did the end of last season?
I think it's going to come up short.
Yeah. Hey, we never know. Last season it was like that close, that
But they
close.
got to win 7 games just to make it like tangible before
Yeah,
he comes back. I think since he's gone down, they've won 0.
yeah. Um, you know what? Joe Flacco, I mean, they played my Packers today. Joe Flacco, after that second half, whatever they talked about during halftime, he came out firing and,
He'll sling it. Yeah, if
yeah.
you have T.
So
Higgins or Jamar Chase, I'd feel pretty good. Andre
now,
Easterboss, the guy who I drafted early in the season, I feel good about all those guys, to be honest.
well, he found a tight end named Hunter. Mike
Okay.
Gesicki went down, and
Ooh.
he was lighting it up with this tight end. So, like,
Is he
maybe a
is he
sleeper candidate.
like a light skinned black guy?
No,
Young. Oh,
nope,
interesting.
no.
Because I know that's the one that they were putting their kind of hopes in last season, who they drafted in like the 2nd or 3rd round, and they were thinking that he would take over for Gesicki, but Gesicki just crushed it last season.
Yeah, let me see if I can catch his name really quick.
But that guy got
Tanner
hurt last season too.
Tanner Hudson.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. He's 30
Okay.
years old. This is his 6th
Wow.
season.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so I don't
Interesting.
know if him and like Flacco just happen to know each other or something, but it
Okay.
seemed like he came in the game. Dude got like all 5 targets today.
Nice. Okay.
And literally barely has double digits in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
caught a
they're going to make
touchdown.
something work,
You
man.
know,
You're spot on that
solid.
Flacco, like he will sling it, and their offense is running much better with him than the guy previously backing up Burrow. Like
Yeah.
that guy's just not. Jake Browning's just not going to work.
No. Speaking of things that don't work, and this is another one of those teams I'm not completely sold on. I know you like them a little bit more than I do, but this is a type of game that makes me go, eh. The Denver Broncos played the New York
Yes,
Jets in London this morning.
yeah,
Um,
that's a tough
I'm
one.
glad that was in London and we didn't show that here in America because,
Yeah, I think that travel
yeah,
screwed with both those teams massively, especially Denver.
oh,
Yeah, I
that
mean
was,
to do that
oh,
kind of game overseas, you can tell there's generally in these Europe games, there's generally one team that is just totally just whacked from that jet lag. And even though Denver won that game, to win that game, to me, no matter who you're playing against and overcoming that nasty, nasty jet lag, and you're just totally out of sync, I give Denver a lot of props, man. And to me, like I don't know about the entire NFL, but in the AFC, I clearly think Denver should be a 5-0 team. I think they are one of the three best teams in the entire AFC. I can easily see them being in the AFC Championship game. Just being
so
doing all the stuff, seeing the way Bo Nix works that offense. I mean, he's under more duress than he was last season. Plus, the league is catching up to him. The way Sean Payton's making this work, and I do kind of like the backside of that defense too. I really like. I've watched a good amount of Denver games now, and I really do like what I see. It's a tough, gritty way to win, but they actually have like a legit, more balanced offense than a team kind of like Philly, which is kind of like one note, but it's still pretty good. I kind of see them as almost like that Philly of the AFC, and they're pretty gritty, man.
um, so I'm not going to say too much about this. I tooted Justin Fields' horn as this awesome
Right,
fantasy football quarterback. He was averaging, nearly 30 points a game and blah blah
sure.
blah.
Not getting
Yeah,
that today.
he scored me a big zero today.
Yeah.
Because I forgot to put Jackson Dart in because of the Thursday game, and yeah, that was my fault. But this is the thing I'm going to tell you about
I would just
Justin
ignore
Fields.
that game today, though, to be
I
fair.
I have never. I mean, Jackson Dart probably will be my starter going forward anyway. But
I love the
um,
guy.
so this is an insane stat. I can't believe I'm saying this. So Justin Fields threw for 45 yards. He was sacked 9 times and he lost 55 yards. So if you do the quick math, Justin Fields threw for negative 10 yards.
That's crazy. That is
Like,
crazy.
what?
Yeah,
Negative 10 yards.
that's nuts, man. I mean, I like you know my guy Mark at work, and he was pretty upset about Justin Fields before this game even started. So like he's seen more Jets Justin Fields than I've seen, and maybe you as well. But I've heard some really weird stuff about that guy throwing the football that makes me really want to be yikes, like hands off this guy. I don't know, man. I think we're really seeing that the NFL is starting to go to the mode of you want a guy who's almost like a mobile Ben Roethlisberger archetype. I think that's really what the league is doing, and even a guy who's got some size and toughness, and it's not the greatest thing since sliced bread, but even Rodgers kind of does that, and it's about to kick off right now. I mean, Mahomes definitely has that, and Mahomes is doing everything he can to keep that team alive, and it's not pretty either, but I'd say he's doing a good job.
Well, you know who doesn't have it? Watch this segue. Ready?
Oh,
Who doesn't have it and probably doesn't have a job going forward?
oh,
Kyler Murray doesn't have it. And I don't know if you know this, but the Cardinals were up going into the fourth quarter against those like mighty beastie Colts. Yeah,
they're
they
not
ended
that
up
great.
losing. They ended up
They're
losing. But Jacoby Brissett was starting at quarterback.
I love it. I mean, if I'm a Marvin Harrison owner, I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm back in play. I'm not saying it's going to be great, but like the fact that like, oh, cool, I have a quarterback who can actually see me at like eyesight level. That's a big win.
Well, he still wasn't looking at Marvin Harrison.
Oh no.
His boy was Zay Jones today. Zay Jones had
Ooh,
8 targets for nearly 80 yards, and then Trey McBride had 11 targets. Marvin Harrison had
dang.
2.
They're back. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I could see probably Marvin Harrison weaving his way into this offense in the future. But I mean, you have the speed out of Zay Jones, and then you have just the beastiness out of the tight end for the Cardinals. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool right there. But
Um,
again, too, I mean, I watched the Colts last week. I didn't really take away too much from that game. That game was way too lopsided, and it didn't tell me anything about the Colts. I haven't really seen too much of the Colts outside that Denver game week 1 that really showed me how this team really operates. I've still seen Daniel Jones make some really errant throws, and that's going to catch up to him. It's absolutely
hey,
going to catch up to him. I mean, I like what I see out of Jonathan Taylor, and he's finally not seeing like 8 guys in the box because of these targets that Daniel can throw to. But like, I don't know, maybe that is the secret sauce to get Indy rolling. But I do think that Daniel Jones is, to a degree, holding that offense back. Even though his numbers look fantastic, there are still times where it's like he still cannot throw to a wide open wide receiver.
hey, Danny Dimes is putting up buckets. That's all I know.
Totally,
Like
totally.
he's third in yards. He's a top 10 in touchdowns. He's number 1 in QBR. Like he's out there just doing things.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Well, you got to watch him play.
I agree. I'm all I know is the guy is putting up dubs, right?
Right.
So to have 5 wins, and yeah, I mean we can do a little wink wink here on the
Right.
side. Miami,
Right.
Denver, Tennessee, Las Vegas, Arizona.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is
Yeah.
exactly what you called last year when you called a certain team out for having a soft schedule like that. Was it Dallas or who did you call out? It reminds me
Ooh.
of a team you called out last season. You're
I think it
and
was I think it was Miami.
oh, it was Miami. Yes, yes. Yeah, I
Ooh.
think that's exactly what's going on here. And I mean, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they're on top of essentially a division that's not that hot. But I think you're spot on, man. When Indy starts playing some real nasty teams, I think things will actually change.
So we did get a random question here from
Okay.
Sports Edits.
Okay.
Um, do we think I should trade away Rico Dowdle right now for high because Chuba's coming back? They have Bucky and Kyron as their
Oh
running
yeah.
backs.
Easily.
Whew.
Yep.
I mean, if you can swing, I don't know what your wide receiver depth looks like, but if you can swing and get a like solid wide receiver out of that,
Yep.
why not?
Also, today I heard Emeka Ibuka went down, so that's going to really crank up that volume for Bucky once
Woo.
he's ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely start sending that trade ASAP.
But yeah, if you can, why not? I mean, yeah, you might get burned if you do it a little early, but a
Can't wait
great
too late.
coach, or I was going to say, a great coach once said, "I'd rather do it a week early than a week late."
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, I think that's a great strategy there, and thanks for submitting that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm just giving a look at that Colts schedule. Now, again, I don't believe in the Chargers, but we'll see next week who I should actually believe in, the Colts or the Chargers. But
Oh, they
they have
play each other.
Tennessee. Yeah, they do. They do.
Oh, you know where I'm
Uh,
going.
they are the primetime game. They're going
Love it.
to LA next week.
Love it.
The 3 o'clock game, actually. So
Sure.
then then they have Tennessee. That's probably another W.
Yep.
Uh, Pittsburgh, wink.
Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. I will gladly take Pittsburgh right there. Gladly.
um, Atlanta. I think they might be able to handle Atlanta, but that's also going to be one of those overseas games. It's at 8 a.m.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that could be a weird one.
that could be a weird one. Kansas City, Houston, Jacksonville.
I'll
I'm
take
going to say,
I'll take 2 out of those 3 going the other way.
Yeah,
I mean, again, I like Jacksonville, and I do like Kansas City's defense for sure.
I think they'll split with Jacksonville since they have to play with them twice.
Sure.
And I'll say the same thing with Houston, even if they split. So we're talking 8 wins at that point.
They're
Maybe
making the
they get
playoffs. I see that.
right. I think they'll at least be a playoff team. They'll play
Yeah.
Seattle, San Francisco as well on that. So I mean, hey,
Oh,
I think
that's a
I
little
think
scary.
at least 9 or 10 wins.
Yeah.
Probably sneaks them in there.
Totally, totally. Yeah, that's an interesting schedule there. Once it kind of gets towards the back end. So yeah, it's interesting. I do like seeing what I see out of Jonathan Taylor. The one thing I did notice too is even though I don't know all these wide receivers, the wide receivers for Indianapolis, they step up. They got some good guys who know how to get open. Um, that's basically all that you can ask for from a wideout.
Hey,
So I
I
like it.
knew I knew Ty Warren was going to be a man, and
He
that
plays
dude is
fullback.
leading everything
Everything.
every week in targets. I mean, he's top 20 in yards, like
Yeah.
wide receiver, tight end, running. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The only thing I could really kind of like grind a little bit in the last couple weeks, it's been happening. Targeting him for touchdowns down by the goal line, but
Yeah.
yeah, he just got his first 2 touchdowns these past 2 weeks. But I mean, 9 targets, 7 targets, 5, 6, 4, 9. Like the dude is just getting loaded up on touchdowns.
Oh yeah, he can also run the football into
Yeah.
the end zone from the goal line. So
Yep.
he's a fullback. I think this also improves Jonathan Taylor's ability as well. So the fact that you have Tyler Warren basically blocking as a fullback, it's scary, man. I mean, I thought Tyler Warren would be the best. Well, I thought he'd be the second best tight end, but I did not think that he would be this all around of a scary player. I thought he would be the best rookie tight end, but holy smokes, he is ramping it up to another level that I didn't see coming.
Yeah. Speaking of things I didn't see coming, I was not a believer in the New England Patriots, and I'm still not a believer. They barely snuck out of New Orleans 25-19 today, but Drake
Interesting.
May threw 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, Drake May's been stepping up, man. So when I look at the top teams in the AFC, granted, I think highly of Denver, and then I'm going to have to put Buffalo up there. That number three team that I think is the third best team in the AFC, I actually think it's the New England Patriots. They play all around complete football. Now, could they lose off of weird turnovers from Ramondre Stevenson? They could. But the interceptions on Drake May, I don't know about today's game, but last time before this game, it was literally one. So, like, yeah. So Drake May he's stepping up. He's becoming that Josh Allen kind of prototype. Yeah, I mean, the first few games with the weather and just starting out the season were kind of weird, but yeah, just seeing the way that that guy can play, I did like him when he was coming out of North Carolina. I like the tape. I heard some weird negative stuff I didn't understand. Basically, all the family athletes that he's related to, they're pretty much all around winners. His brother was on the North Carolina Tar Heels men's championship basketball team. He's a pretty good guy. He's a really kind guy. If you ever see him interviewed, I really like what we're seeing. He makes really good progressions. He's tough. He runs. He pretty much does everything. So yeah, I
Well,
mean, not everything's perfect,
speaking
but I really do enjoy watching the Patriots play.
speaking of doing everything, I mean, he led them in carries, or no, he was tied for second in carries, and he led them in rushing yards with 28. Yep,
Wow,
28. So Travion Henderson, 9 for 27. Ramondre Stevenson, 13 for 18.
interesting. So that
That's
that
why I don't believe in them.
Well, that tells me something about the Saints. That tells me that that Saints defense against the run, that might be a thing. And if I go
Eh,
back to, well, hear me out though. If I go
okay.
back last week and I go to the Giants game, I don't think Scattaboo actually had that good of a game against the Saints. So that Saints defense is kind of torqued a little bit towards stopping the run. And is Rashid Shaheed going to break out at times? Is Spencer Rattler playing better? Definitely. So, granted, you can win against the Saints, but is it going to be easy to win against the Saints? Not necessarily. And again, we do know the majority of NFL games are close. So, yeah, I mean, Miami is really rough, and so is Arizona. But like,
They're
still, these games are going to be kind of close at times. So,
they're middle
um,
of the pack. They're
yeah,
not very good.
okay.
They're
But still, I mean,
yeah.
like even the here's the other thing too. The Patriots run game hasn't been all that great lately too. So there's times where they can pop off and like Ramondre looks really good. Travion can do some good stuff, but they've lost some guys. I know Gibson's out. It's just kind of looking kind of rough at times. So they are becoming a more pass heavy dependent team. But you still have Hunter Henry in the middle of the field for playing tight end. I pretty much like
New,
all three wide receivers they have on this team.
New England,
So yeah,
New England's bottom six in rushing yards.
yeah, that's exactly what I would expect.
And
It
so
is
like I can't when it comes to, playoff football, you got to be able to run the football and
totally.
I don't trust any of those guys.
Yeah, it's definitely going to change if they want to see real success late in the season. And I'll tell you what, that's a thing that I think I'm starting to notice about Josh McDaniels is I think he is similar to in terms of play calling. He's pretty similar to a Mike McCarthy. Both guys can develop quarterbacks. They can get very good production out of their young up and coming quarterbacks. Yet they do get a little lackluster at the running back position. So,
So
like the first year that McDaniels had Josh Jacobs, Jacobs crushed it. But it was weird too because McDaniels and Jacobs were going at each other, and it almost got to the point where he almost wanted to cut him. It's mind blowing. So that's kind of how that happens. And then the second year after that season, Jacobs took a big step backwards. So yeah, is there something going on play calling wise with McDaniels and running the football? Yeah, that's legit.
the big problem though is Stevenson's averaging 3 yards a carry.
Yep. Yeah.
And I mean, to go from 15, 54, 18, 38,
Yep.
14, 18, it
Yeah.
that's not going to fly when you have to play some of these like top-notch defenses and just going, you know, off of the top rushing defenses in the NFL. I mean, you're going to play Denver. You might play Houston. You might play Jacksonville.
You play
You might play the
Buffalo again.
Colts. Like those teams are going to just punch you in the face. You're not going to be able to run the football, and
Interesting.
then you're going to have to throw. And now
Yeah.
you're talking about we look at the best pass defenses in the NFL: Buffalo, Denver, Houston, LA, uh, Kansas City.
Yep.
The, you're going to have a problem because
Yeah.
all those teams are playoff teams.
Yeah, you're spot on there. I think the thing is too, I mean, knowing how the season works, knowing how fantasy works, we know that the New England defense moving forward is going to be probably one of the best in the entire league. Like totally, man. I mean, you're talking about
Pick
nothing
them
but
up.
green grass pastures from here on out if you own them for fantasy. That said, they're playing against lackluster offenses. So playoff football is going to be different. They're going to make it into the tournament, but that's where it's going to get weird, and that's where you're spot on that they have to know how to run the ball by then.
And let's talk about a defense that's just mangling people. Ah, what I tell you about those Pittsburgh Steelers, huh?
Totally crushing it. I am spot on wrong about that. I owe you a sandwich, and that's no debate.
They, I mean, are we gonna start talking about Shador Sanders soon? Dylan
I do
Gabriel
think the
got
guy definitely deserves an opportunity,
smashed.
man.
And I hope this isn't because Dylan Gabriel had a pretty good game last week, but he ran into the buzzsaw of the Pittsburgh Steelers,
Yeah.
and the dude threw 52 passes.
Yeah, and that's generally never going to work well. I know I've basically heard good things about Dylan Gabriel from a lot of
Yeah,
people. I'm going to go with my eye test of everything that I've seen of Dylan Gabriel, and I've not seen all these games professionally with Dylan Gabriel. What I've seen of his tape from college, not good, bro. Like he is a backup quarterback in the
Yeah.
NFL. He is a straight up backup quarterback. I definitely think you're going to get more pop in this offense from Shadur, and I think that's probably going to happen sooner than later. I don't
Yeah.
think you're going to get the respect of men from Dylan Gabriel. I really don't. And granted, I know Shadur's got some real leadership lackluster issues, but I think he's going to figure it out. I think players are going to rally around that, and I think there's going to be more potential there out of that. Now, is that going to do anything to make the either guy a starting quarterback for Cleveland next season? Probably not, but it's definitely the method that I would want to go as a franchise. And granted, I'm stuck with Geno Smith. Like I hate the situation I'm in with my team. I would love to change it up and start seeing what other quarterbacks out there look like. But I give Cleveland props for seeing what they're trying to see out of Dylan Gabriel. I just I think he was drafted way too highly, and especially for a guy that basically took the spot for Bo Nix going pro. Like that's what I'm always going to remember the guy for, and seeing a lot of lackluster throws to guys that are wide open, playing for basically one of the best schools in the nation. Okay, great. You're Bryce Young. You're Tua Tagovailoa. Like that's not good. That's
Mhm.
not a good. You're Jalen Hurts. That's not a good group of guys to really be into throwing the football. Although I'll say this, I did watch the Broncos Eagles game from last week. I saw some good stuff from Jalen Hurts, so I don't really know exactly how that offense is getting so kind of clunky. I've seen the guy make really good throws, so I man, something's going on in Philly. It's hard to pinpoint, but yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts is the best of that bunch for sure. But if you're just a guy who just went to a really good school and isn't really cutting it, I that's not a guy I would invest any kind of equity in, expecting for him to be my franchise quarterback.
Right. I mean, I'm with you there. But one guy that is a franchise quarterback, good old Aaron.
Yeah,
Aaron. Uh,
yeah,
he's doing exactly. I mean, he literally has. We were talking about New England. Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. I have
awesome.
no idea what they're doing out there.
Yeah,
Just following around, I guess. Um, but he is making DK Metcalf look like a dude.
yep,
Our boy Darnell Washington got some plays today. Five
totally.
targets. I wonder if they just
Wow,
noticed that he was on the team. Yeah, he got more targets than Jonnu Smith. Um,
good.
but between the tight ends, there was 9 targets. They ended up with 80 yards combined. Um, like Pat Fryermuth got it. He got a pass. Like we're putting up dubs up here with these 3 tight ends.
Yeah,
And
it's
like I
becoming
said,
very balanced.
Pittsburgh just shut down Quinshon Judkins, and that was
That's
it.
great. Yeah, I mean, you shut down that guy. That's a pretty big feat right there. So I like what's going on there. Am I in? Am I concerned with Rodgers making it through the season? I am, and that's where I think this could fall apart at some point. But the thing is, that team is incredibly balanced. The offense is coming together. The defense looks fantastic. If they did go with another quarterback besides Rodgers, I still think they could actually get it done.
Um, Speaking of quarterbacks getting it done, what about Bryce Young? No, I'm kidding. Totally
Yeah,
kidding.
and again, too, you played Dallas today.
Oh,
Played Dallas. Everyone's going to hang up a ton of points against Dallas.
yeah.
So, and even the numbers against Dallas to me are still not good enough. It's still not a guy who has a big arm. Yeah, I mean, granted, Dave Canales is getting through the season with him, but I don't think Canales can look at, wow, I can make it through here for a long foreseeable future with Bryce Young. I could see Carolina being a sneaky team that's going to try to maneuver the draft and try to land a quarterback that they really like.
Dude, we just want them to make the playoffs. That's all
That's
we want
true.
over here.
And
Uh,
that's the thing is like to me the NFC, I mean, I I mean, you know me, I'm more of an AFC guy. I can't really figure out how many really good teams there are in the NFC. I know that's your conference. What do you got on gauging the playoff teams in the NFC?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, obviously, and I mean, I think this is literally the best team in football, but they just keep getting injured, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If
Sure.
they can, I mean, they're putting everything together.
Yep.
Detroit's going to be there because obviously they they can hang up a lot of points on the really bad teams, and then the
Right.
really good teams they kind of struggle with.
Yep.
San Francisco and Philly are hanging around. Green Bay's doing its thing.
I
And
like
then
Seattle.
I was going to say Seattle and San Francisco are both playing great football. And
They are.
I don't know anybody on these teams anymore. I mean,
Yep.
JSN is out there. San Francisco is just gluing people together and just throwing them out there.
They are.
So maybe once they get a full team back, they could be even better.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. If San Fran can find a way into the tournament, that's all they need. Like they just want
Yeah.
to get in and just start causing havoc. Like that's their MO. They're great at it. I really like, I mean, I've seen a few of their games. I really, really like the Seattle defense.
Yeah.
And their head coach, he's really kind of getting these guys ramped up. Seems like people are kind of rallying behind that. I think his name's McDonald, something like that. But he was a former defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. And man, I see it. The way he's scheming his players, they're basically all playing zone and they're basically playing positionless defense. It's really weird, man. You watch them before that pre-snap, before the ball is snapped. Not a single guy on defense is like really set, and they're all kind of moving around, and it doesn't make any sense. Honestly, I've never seen anything like this before on defense. It's almost like he's playing with a bunch of Ray Rices playing defense. It's pretty bizarre.
Which is really cool. I mean,
It is.
um they're 4-2 right now. They what am I looking for
They
here?
broke San
They're
Francisco. They
yeah,
basically were
that's
using to
true.
start breaking them.
They did.
Yeah, they lost the
So
game, but they broke them.
they are number 3 in point differential, which
Oh
tells
yeah,
you like they're not letting other teams score. Plus, they're I mean, look at the game today. Jacksonville put up 12.
yeah. The game against Pittsburgh wasn't even close.
Yeah,
And that was Pittsburgh.
this this team doesn't score very much, but they also just don't let you score. Sam
Yeah.
Darnold doesn't make mistakes. That Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, there's some games where they're on, some games they're not on,
Yep.
but JSN is basically unstoppable.
Yeah, yeah. JSN has always been a player I've always been a fan of. He's definitely one of my favorite fantasy guys. I really liked him coming out of that draft. Again, I'm bummed out from Emeka Ibuka and another Ohio State receiver that's kind of banged up. But I like these Ohio State receivers in the NFL, man. I think they're all pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, speaking of phenomenal, finally, Brian Thomas Jr. got us a touchdown today. Whew.
Yeah, that's a weird situation going on there in Jacksonville. And I did hear a report that it seems like some of these teams are going to get more aggressive before this trade deadline that comes up in, I think, I want to say it's maybe 3 to 4 weeks out, basically. I think it's like November 9th, which
Yeah.
is basically after 1, 2, 3. So I think it's after the next 3 weeks of football, which really tells you you only have about 2 weeks to really make a deal. So
Okay.
I get it. I to me, if I'm a team that needs a wideout like San Fran or Washington, I think you got to make a play for Brian Thomas like now. I'm very disappointed in Trevor Lawrence, and
I'm
it's
not.
it's a bummer.
That that guy's been a I don't want to be the mean part about it, but the guy's been a bum since he came in.
Yes, I think he's a bust. I think he's basically the biggest bust that's currently in the NFL. Like honestly, it's even worse than Bryce Young because there were plenty of people like us who didn't think Bryce Young was that good coming into the NFL.
Yeah.
But I did think the world of Trevor Lawrence once I saw him in his later years at Clemson. I thought this guy would just crush it. early at Clemson, I wasn't as gung ho. And when I saw the Elite 11 Academy, where it's like him, Justin Fields, some other guys, I thought it was not as good from what I was expecting to see out of Trevor Lawrence after hearing the hype. But seeing him when he was winning championships with Clemson, I was expecting that to translate into the NFL. And if you basically bring pressure on Lawrence, he completely breaks down. He does not
Yeah.
find his best receivers, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Let's talk about completely breaking down.
Oh,
The Baltimore Ravens are broken. I don't know
yeah.
what's wrong.
Yeah, and this is where, I mean, I do regret my betting side of me, where I basically should have realized that if they had lost Lamar or Derrick Henry, their season is pretty much over. And
Yeah.
to me, it's even more devastating with Lamar. And I think last week you said that Lamar has even more credibility for being up for MVP, like he should have been last season. And if we were going quarterback last season, I couldn't have given it to Josh Allen. I could have only given it to Lamar Jackson based on what he did. I
Yeah.
would have given it to Saquon, but it is what it is. But like Lamar is so exotic and so intricate to that offense. And on top of that, watching Lamar play last season and kind of the end of the season before that, his game is going to another level. When a play breaks down, when he's forced outside the pocket, his passing ability is now next level, elite level. He is fantastic. The only downside with him is now the toughness. But really, what's going on here is the hamstring. So that tells you the speed element. So the speed
Yeah.
play with him is kind of breaking down. But could he be more, I guess, decisive of when he's going to run? I could see that changing. And again, too, I remember hearing way back when they said he really didn't like running. So he's always been kind of that passer thinking first kind of a player. And lately, it's all their eggs in the Lamar basket. And is this going to screw up Derrick Henry to a degree? I think so.
The defense played really well today. I mean, Devontae was shut down, Puka was shut down,
Wow.
Kyron Williams was shut
Puka
down.
got hurt.
Like, yeah, yeah, I know. They did everything they were supposed to do, and I've never seen anything like this where Cooper Rush threw it over 15 times, Tyler Huntley threw it 15 times. Like, neither of them got 100 yards.
Oh, so it's like they're experimenting at quarterback, and they really don't know which one they got. And Huntley's
They're
been the
both
guy,
horrible.
man. He's been there for a while.
He has, but they're both just bad.
Really. What? So the other guy too that I thought was part of this mix. I don't know if he's still on the team, but wasn't there a young quarterback from Louisville or Utah that was kind of backing up Lamar?
If he was, he's not there anymore.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that could have told you something about how this player threw the ball, and that's totally legit. There's people, there's scouts, people that work on these teams. They see a lot more about these players than we do. Give them all the credit for that. So with that being the case, that gives them such a lofty advantage over the rest of the NFL, especially the NFC. That advantage is gone. With no Lamar Jackson, it's a completely different team, completely different offense. It's basically trying to play basically chess now after you're playing Go. It's just two different games, totally different, and it's totally different football going on for these Ravens. So yeah, it's why I think that basically the AFC North is basically wrapped up. I really think if you look at top to bottom, the most complete team is Pittsburgh. And I want all these people who have been clamoring for Mike Tomlin's job over the last handful of years or so,
Yep.
you people all need to say you were wrong. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, last season for the in-season hard knocks, watching Mike Tomlin's player meetings for after they just played on Sunday and what they're going into the week and what they're prepping for, that is a coach that I would run through a brick wall for, and a lot of these players do in the AFC North. And I'm telling you, man, it's worlds of difference. Mike Tomlin is so inspiring, such a down to earth, relatable guy. He's a player's coach first. He's a no nonsense guy. He's a blue collar guy. Mike Tomlin is really, like, if we really got to be straight up about this, he is absolutely a top 5 coach in the NFL. And if they wanted to get rid of him, he would be the number 1 coaching candidate above anyone, including offensive coaches like Ben Johnson. Mike Tomlin would be the number 1 head coach and hire in the NFL by far.
I agree. Yeah, nothing more I can say about Mike Tomlin.
Yeah,
except the guy's really good.
I'm still shocked that even when you guys ended whatever coach was before LaFleur, that was when that chatter came up again. And I was getting really curious to see if they were going to pull that trigger, because my gut was telling me that Mike Tomlin was going to be the next coach of the Green Bay Packers.
Ooh, I would have been okay with that.
Totally.
Speaking of things that confuse me, and are the Tennessee Titans trying to lose the entire season again?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and as issues as well. But I don't know. I mean, I heard people saying that they were kind of excited when he got hired. I've never been excited for Bill Callahan's son being a head coach in the NFL. I think his father did some really great stuff. His father is a solid offensive line head coach. His father was coaching in a Super Bowl against John Gruden with my Raiders. But that being said, he has no ability to truly gauge talent at quarterback. He basically got Cam Ward because everyone said, go get Cam Ward. All right, cool. But you also chose to pull the trigger on Will Levis. That guy is a complete bust. And then you also pulled the trigger on dealing out Malik Willis. And there's people I know on the Green Bay side of things that really, really like Malik Willis.
Oh, we do.
So,
we do.
Yeah, that's like a really bad. It's one thing to not. I don't know. It's one thing to like be not right about a certain quarterback, but it's one to be wrong where another team takes advantage of a guy that you let walk. That's like another level of mistake that when it comes to being a head coach and you need a franchise quarterback, I think it's a judgment like that is got to change over. And I think Mike McCarthy is going to be the head coach of Tennessee next year.
Hey, maybe. That's not a bad idea. Cincinnati actually tried to trade for Malik Willis, what was it, a week or two ago? And the Packers said no.
I mean, it's so hard to have a strong backup quarterback. You can't get rid of Malik Willis if you're Green Bay. Kind of like, I mean, I'm not saying he's otherworldly, but I think Mitch Trubisky backing up Josh Allen is a fantastic location. Trubisky does very well in that Buffalo offense for whatever reason. And like, if you're Trubisky, you're like, yep, I'm just going to write out my career in Buffalo behind Josh, their place, and knows their value when it comes to just that team. And to me, Malik Willis absolutely has that in Green Bay.
Like, and this is why I think they're. I mean, I don't understand what the point of. Usually, when you want to lose, you try to get your quarterback. Well, they went and got Cam Ward, right?
Solid,
that's who you think. Yeah, he's doing an okay job for what they're handing to him. But like, no workhorse, the guy. Van Jefferson, I didn't know was still in the NFL. Chigga Conru,
he was great on the Ravens.
Yeah, as like a third receiver or something, right? Tajay Spears and Chig and Van should not be your top 3 target shares when you still have Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett on your team. I don't even care if they don't catch it. Just lob it over there. One target for these guys is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre how this offense is starting to manipulate and work. So it's I don't know. I just don't really see it coming together. It's team two that last season and the year before had like really top notch defense, and now you can see that's breaking down because the offense can't stay on the field. I think he absolutely has to be one of those coaches getting fired. I mean, I think him and flat out Mike McDaniels in Miami. Like those two guys are clearly out the.
I was just curious about the Raiders. Top 4 target shares. Trey Tucker, number 1 receiver. Michael Mayer, number 1 tight end right now from the injury.
Yep.
Number 2 receiver, Jacoby Myers, or number 1B, whatever you want to call him. Ashton Jetty. Those are their top 4 target guys, and it makes sense. Those are the top 4 offensive guys on the like. Those guys aren't open. I bet you they're more open than Van Jefferson.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, it's a really bad look for this team. This team totally has to start fresh. This team's going to clean house. Sneaky team too that I think will also clean house.
It's not a bad idea.
Cincinnati.
But any tidbits on your Raiders there in that game?
So I haven't watched the game yet. I mean I'm pretty frustrated with my Raiders at the moment. I don't like what we're doing at quarterback.
Yeah.
Again, too, this is a softball toss. This is basically a bye week win. It's not a real team, and that's a bummer. That's a real bummer. So I got to see more out of my team. I know I have a good team, but I have a lousy quarterback. And I have a head coach that when everything hits the fan and he wants to go hand and foot with Geno Smith to the promised land, and that's not going to end well, man. It's just not for a coach who made the aggressive call to swap out Matt Flynn for Russell Wilson. I don't get why you're not changing it up and realizing that Geno is just not the guy. That's something I'm really concerned with. I don't get why we're doing this. I'd like to hear more input from like a guy like Tom Brady on this. And when you have a head coach that's airing out the team in general, and also airing out really doesn't. And not only that, Chip Kelly also probably has his eyes set for possibly 1 to 2 franchises out there in the college world that we know jobs are open now. So if I'm Chip Kelly, I'm like, really, if you're going to air me out for how lackluster this offense looks, and let's not really like hang any banners for beating the Titans. Chip Kelly's doing a darn good job, man. It's not his job to throw the football. So that's the problem.
Well, you know whose job it is to throw the football? How do you just come off the bus from home and just go, 45? They ran the ball 16 times. That's it. I mean, I know you can't really do very much against Packers defense. You can throw the ball a little bit on them, but at least he was throwing it to Chase twice. 8 targets to T. Higgins. Yeah. Guess what? That's what it should be. 20 targets to those 2 guys. Can't argue with that.
Yep. And I'm not going to toot my horn on this, but what I will say is now that we're like 6 weeks into a season, if you're in a very deep fantasy league, you got to know the guys that you got. You got to know that if a guy is really doing their thing on offense, ride them. Like, you got to know that your guys are your guys. And what I mean by that is watch them play. If you are watching them and you're seeing things that look good, but they might not have like the big time fantasy days, that's fine. Just watch them and make sure that do they have opportunity? Are they being looked at in the end zone when a team gets to the goal line? Seeing that stuff matters because when you have that, those big days do show up. And my guy Keyshawn Booty and my New England Patriots, it happened. So I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting crazy banana numbers, but was I expecting a guy to possibly get me a touchdown today and possibly get more volume? Whereas last week was such a heavy Stephon Diggs day, where somehow he was more wide open in the nickel compared to the outside corners shutting down those wideouts. I did expect that. So knowing that I got a good receiver in Keyshawn Booty, it matters. So just your guys that aren't killing it, just make sure that those guys are doing their job. And you do that, that gives you a real nice leg up in fantasy.
And I'm actually glad you said that because there are two guys on the Packers that like I'm really wondering what's going to happen in the next year or so
Okay.
because one of them just got an extension,
Oh,
Christian Watson, right?
okay.
He got an extension while being hurt. And
Oh,
everyone talked about Romeo Dobbs being the guy that's getting removed. Well, guess what? Romeo Dobbs is the dude that you're
yeah.
talking about when you talk about watch these guys play. Romeo
Yep.
Dobbs had 9 or 10 targets today,
Yeah.
clearly led the team. And he's been doing that every week. Like a big play on third and, you know,
Long.
8, 9
Sure.
yards, third and long. Romeo Dobbs, the guy getting that toss, getting
Yeah.
down to the red zone. It's either
Yep.
Tucker Kraft or Romeo Dobbs. Like
Yes. He's always been
today,
talked about as Love's number one.
yeah, and they're always talking about trading him too, which I get as because you have so many guys. But when Jaden Reed comes back, when Christian Watson comes back, now you have Matthew Golden. Where does Romeo Dobbs fall? Now, do you run with 4 wide receivers? Maybe, but then who do you
Maybe.
pay at the end of the day? And then was it
Yeah.
necessary to draft a number 1 wide receiver like Matthew Golden? I, it it's really tossed up. But then you look at
Yeah.
numbers. Well, Jordan Love only missed 7 passes. One was
Sure.
a little wild and it got picked, but he had a great day again.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where does he have to have a go-to guy? Not really. The go-to guy is behind him. That's Josh Jacobs. Just let him have the ball. Running
Totally.
5 yards of carry, 2 touchdowns. But you're never going to get a fantasy wide receiver like Romeo Dobbs. And what happens when
Yep.
these guys come back?
Right. Yeah. I think too it matters when you get to the goal line. So your goal line offense and is kind of a little more different than your typical open field offense. So if you
Yeah.
see that Romeo Dobbs and definitely Tucker Kraft are the guys that you go to when you get to that goal line, that is something I want to keep my eyes open for. I saw that in the Pittsburgh game that the Patriots played. It was the one interception by Drake May was targeted for Keyshawn Booty in the end zone. So right there, that really made me feel good. That even though that was a lackluster fantasy day, I was like, oh, that was 8 for us, 8 fantasy points that was just hanging out there. That was just sniped away at the last moment. That I'm okay with because I know my guy is one of those first looks when you're in the end zone. And if you're
Yeah.
getting that out of Romeo Dobbs, ride with him.
Yeah. And speaking of my guy, last game we'll talk about
Sure.
Baker Mayfield is the MVP.
I've heard that. I've heard that from one other person, and now hearing it from you,
Well, I've been saying it.
that's
I've
pretty
literally
cool.
been saying it since last year. Remember, I was on the horn. Even though I said Lamar Jackson, I said Baker Mayfield should have gotten it over Josh Allen easily.
Interesting. Wow, that's very interesting. I didn't know. I mean, I know he had really nice numbers, but I didn't know the numbers were that
Oh,
big.
I said it
That's
on
pretty
this
cool.
on this very show. On this
Yes,
very show. Uh,
yes,
but in the eyes of Baker Mayfield, I guess it doesn't matter who's playing wide receiver. And in this case,
he's slinging
if
it.
your name is Johnson, you're getting a touchdown. Cameron Johnson and Tez Johnson today both got tutties.
Interesting. I don't know who either of those guys are,
No
but
idea.
I mean, you know me. I'm slinging my creamsicle today, and I've ridden with my Tampa Bay Buccaneers all season. And granted, I got Bucky on IR, but I just knowing that I have a strong offense moving the football downfield makes me feel even better about my Buccaneers defense, knowing that I've had lackluster games against Philly and against Seattle, and I'm probably going to be sweating it against Detroit. But that's okay. I mean, when you get these guys back, when you get Bucky back, I think you're onto something, man. This is a
Whew.
team that could really, really be on a heater that really takes them all the way through the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine though, Mike Evans, Abuka, and Godwin all out there at the same time? K.
Yeah,
Dotton out there at tight end,
they'll get
like,
it way late.
whew, it is insane. Like,
Yes, yeah,
and Baker
that's a
Mayfield's
crazy
just
team.
like, okay, man, I'll drop back 23 times.
Yeah,
I'll hit 2 tutties, 250, whatever.
yeah, and I think the thing that you see in his game that I see in Mahomes that I like is they do have that deep ball, big arm potential, but they can work the middle of the field and they have great vision and they can see those routes where those guys are going and they can see when they need to dump it off to the running back and get good production. That is a great quarterback when you have that all together. And
Yeah.
they're mobile. Both Mahomes and Mayfield are mobile. So I really like that. That's really cool. I mean these guys are on my team. I should watch a little more Tampa Bay Buccaneers games these days, and I'll try to catch it this week for
Ooh.
sure.
I mean, you might as well. They're just ho humming it, just going around, just putting up 30 spots, whatever. Like,
That's cool, man.
yeah, they lost to the Eagles, but that was a bit of a shootout. It happens.
Oh yeah,
I'm
tough
very
game.
excited to see what happens when they go to Detroit next week because
Yeah,
it'll tell us a lot. Is Detroit just beating up on bad teams, or is Tampa Bay a cupcake and we just don't know it yet?
yeah. I think you're definitely onto something there. Yeah,
Man,
I think all the injuries to Tampa is a real thing. Yet they're still producing at a pretty
li-
high level. To
listen to
win
the
that game against
schedule.
Seattle, that game against Seattle is no joke. That is a tough game to win at Seattle, and they pulled it off.
Listen to this schedule. So they got the Lions,
Yep.
Saints, Patriots, Bills, Rams in the next five.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. And there's a bye week in there, so my fantasy defense of Tampa Bay is sweating bullets. But when I get to finish the season with the Falcons, Panthers, and Miami Dolphins, that changes things.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Cardinals, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins, Panthers. Like, and we talked about that at the beginning of the season. The Patriots and the Buccaneers, those soft schedules for defenses. I mean, wow. What else
Yeah.
can you do?
Exactly. If you can ride the storm, and this is definitely the storm. I mean, this is a first place divisional schedule you're getting out of Tampa Bay, and it's showing like it is showing its teeth right now. And the fact that they're still 5-1 out of this is pretty impressive.
Whew.
I think the games too, especially against Philly and Seattle, that speaks volumes to me. So to do that, to do what they did today, I think this team is legit. But playing Detroit at Detroit is a different animal. It's like those guys. It's basically Sonic when he like hits the box and he gets like the diamonds running around him and he's just running invincible at lightning speed. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
going to see that out of Jameer Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown and possibly Jamison Williams next week.
We'll see what happens. But like, if they're 5-1 right now, and I mean, I'm gonna say they go 5-1 on those last six, they're a playoff team right there without even playing the rest of that schedule.
Yeah, it's pretty slick what they got going there. And again, too, a guy that I think deserves more credit. I think Todd Bowles is a top 10 coach, solid guy. I liked what he did when he was working with Arians in Arizona. Again, the Jets are just a disaster franchise, so no harm, no foul there. But since him and Arians went to Tampa Bay. They've really put that franchise in the right direction. Tampa Bay's got great ownership, great management. It's the right spot for success.
Oh, I put a little finder fee out there for Tez Johnson. He was drafted seventh round, 19th pick this year out of Oregon.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So this might be a guy that played with Bo Nix.
Maybe, yeah. Like
Maybe.
he's a dude. He is a
Interesting. Well,
dude.
or he played with Dylan Gabriel, something like that.
Oh,
But yeah, those Oregon guys, they show up.
I'm just looking for some statistics here. He
Okay.
didn't really have any big games. I don't even know how he got drafted.
Interesting. That's scouting. That's just cold-blooded scouting department right
Right.
there. Yeah.
Uh,
So they know their guys.
he went from Troy for 3 years, never got over 860 yards, 4 touchdowns was his biggest year.
Yeah.
Then he had 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 800 yards, 10 touchdowns. So I mean, he's just a ho hum kind of guy, but
Yeah, and I
got
wonder
a
too if
touchdown today.
yeah, I wonder too if being at Troy, if that might have held him back to a degree. Granted, it would be a smaller school, but Troy, I believe, is also a military school. So if he
Oh,
had some like military requirement that he also had to deal with while attending that university, and then you go to Oregon and you don't have to deal with that workload, that may have played into it.
oh, maybe.
Yeah.
That's oh, look at this. If you click on him on ESPN, it shows Dylan Gabriel's fourth touchdown pass finds Tez Johnson.
Interesting. Okay.
Uh, maybe when Clemson and Georgia headline Champions Week top
Okay.
plays. There
Sure,
you go.
sure. Okay. There you go, man. So yeah, there's definitely some tape out there. Somebody saw something they liked and it worked out and now he's in Tampa and he's working his way up the ladder there. So
Any,
being able
anything
to
else
make
you
that
want
type
to
of, yeah.
throw in the world?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, again, too. I mean, it's kind of a strategy that I've really dug in deep with now, with my team, kind of taking almost like an investment approach. I would say with so many players going down, so much weird stuff happening in the NFL that if you can really establish handcuffs at almost various positions, do it. So I have this going on at running back. I kind of almost have it going on at tight end, and I have it going on now at wide receiver. Man, if you can make sure that you have your guys backed up, it's basically like you have your own waiver wire within your team. I have guys coming off of IR at some point and I have guys that I like on my bench. So it's nice knowing that you don't really have to sweat it out on the waiver wire, with knowing that you've built a solid team, guys that you can ride with, and guys you believe with and trust, and knowing that if you have to go to the other guys on your bench, that you can substitute them in if you lose certain players. It's
Yeah.
hard to swallow that, but it feels really good when you get to that point. It's a very tough thing to do. I know a lot of guys play fantasy football where they're kind of all over the map and they hope that this player that's kind of good, they hope that someone ahead of them gets hurt. I think that's a very awful way to play fantasy football. And I think it's better to believe in guys that you truly believe in. And even if they're backups, you know that you're going to get solid production out of them. So, granted, I pulled the trigger and I let go of Rashad White, but Rashad White's a solid guy. If I had Rashad White and Bucky Irving, I'd be getting that benefit of that Buccaneers offense that I'm missing. But yeah, I think that's a solid way to go about your team. And plus, it basically tells your league that you own that team. If you own that team and you know that offense, you own that offense. And it's very hard to push somebody off a team that knows that offense and has those players. You're basically just set up for potential success.
Right.
So
Handcuffs.
there you go, handcuffs. It's where it's at. It's at multiple positions, and in the end, for your season, because it is a long, long season, it will serve you well more than it will hurt you for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Well, I mean,
yeah,
I don't have
hey,
anything else. I'm just excited that the Packers won.
there you go. You're excited for that. I'm excited for our brew crew doing it right and starting up the NLCS tomorrow night. So
Ooh,
it's exciting times down here in Milwaukee, that's for sure.
yeah,
So yeah, cool stuff, man. Well, I'm Steve Metrics. That's your boy.
DJ Triggs.
And that's no debate.